হ্যালো চেক। অডিওটা শুনতে পারবো কেমনে? হ্যালো চেক। অডিওর সেটিংটা দেখি আমি একটু। অডিও সেটিং দেখি। এটা কেবল খোলা কিন্তু। না এটা তো ইয়ার সমস্যা নেই। এটা হচ্ছে এবি ম্যাট্রিক্স কমিউনিকেশন ম্যাট্রিক্স এবি ম্যাট্রিক্স ইউএসবি কম্পিউটার অডিও ম্যাট্রিক্স ইউএসবি কম্পিউটার অডিও এখান থেকে হ্যাঁ চেক চেক এটা থাকবে।
এই প্ল্যাটফর্মটা তো সচরাচর মানুষের দরকার পড়ে না। সিনিয়রটা তো সচরাচর দরকার পড়ে। আমি লাইভ করছি এখানে।
ঠিক আছে তো।
হ্যাঁ আপনার এটা পাচ্ছি।
হ্যালো চেক। এই যে আমার ইয়াতে আছে। হ্যালো চেক শুনতে পাচ্ছে? হ্যালো চেক 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 ক্যামেরা ফিটটা বড় করতো। হ্যালো চেক ক্যামেরা ফিটটা বড় কর। হ্যালো চেক চেক 1 2 অডিও শুনতে পায়?
এটা এটার মতো চলবে। ঠিক আছে? তুই যে লিংকটা দিবি ওইটা আমার স্ক্রিনে যাবে।
হ্যালো চেক।
এখানে আপনি সাউন্ড এখানে পাবেন না, এখানে ওই যে ফেসবুকে যে আমি লগইন করছি না ওইটাতে যাওয়ার পরে আপনি সাউন্ড
বুঝছি।
চলবে।
ওই সময় তো এই জিনিসটা
আমরা তো এইভাবে করছি। এটা ইমেল আইডি আছে। ওই ইমেল আইডি দিব। ওই কম্পিউটার ইমেল আইডি আছে।
উনি কি ঢুকছে ভাইয়া? উনি কি ঢুকছে ভাইয়া? উনি কি লিংক ইয়া ঢুকছে?
ভাই এই যে চ্যানেলটা এখানে
না ওই ইউটিউবের লিংক সেশন যখন শুরু হবে তখন আমাকে পাঠিয়ে
কিন্তু
দিবেন।
অডিও ভিডিও উনি পাইছে?
ওইটা পাইছে, এটা পাইছে, এই ফিড পাইছে,
কিন্তু অডিও পাইছে?
অডিও পাইছে।
ঠিক আছে। হ্যাঁ ইয়া করতে ওই স্যারের ফোন দিতে। আমরা তো এইভাবেই ইয়া করছি বুঝছেন, জিনিসটা ইয়া করছি। আমরা যেহেতু ওখান থেকে চলে অডিও ওটা তুমি চলবে, এটা তুমি তো অডিও চলা দরকার নেই। যে কথা বলবে আপনার আমি এই কথা বলতে আছি, এটা তো আমার ক্যামেরা থেকে আমি ক্যামেরা অডিও নিছি, এটা ঢুকতেছে এটার ভিতরে। ঠিক আছে। সো আমার এই ল্যাপটপ থেকে কথা বলবে না। সো আমার হ্যাঁ তাহলে আমার এই কেবল দরকার নেই তো। ওকে
আপনি শুধু লাইভ করবেন।
হ্যাঁ আমি শুধু লাইভ।
আর তাহলে ওইখানে একটা লিংক পাঠিয়ে দেন, ওনারা ওটা দিয়ে
হ্যাঁ উনি দিচ্ছে।
ওটা দেওয়া হবে।
এর অডিও ভিডিও তো আমাদের ওখানে ঢুকতেছে।
অডিও ঠিক আছে।
চেক করুন লিংক করে চেক কি স্যার ওইটার অডিও এটা চেক করেন। আমি কিন্তু
আচ্ছা ওখানে একটা মিউজিক চালাই অ্যাবাউট ইউটিউবে।
ঠিক আছে।
And now we are talking.
Good evening, everyone. We are kindly going to start the program in a few minutes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, and esteemed participants. I, Sababa Malik, welcome you all to United Group Presents Asia Marketing Day 2023, Smart Solutions Partner Dotline, celebrating the 92nd birthday of marketing guru Professor Philip Kotler. We are gathered here today at this prestigious event organized by Bangladesh Brand Forum, co-organized by Department of Marketing and International Business, North-South University, in collaboration with the Asia Marketing Federation and the Marketing Society of Bangladesh. This event aims to celebrate the remarkable contributions of Professor Philip Kotler and discuss the role of marketing in creating smart nations and smart citizens. Furthermore, North-South University stands as a beacon of educational excellence, nurturing students with a commitment to innovation and holistic growth, becoming one of the prestigious university in Bangladesh and earning international acclaim. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our honorable guest and express our gratitude for their participation in this celebration. We are honored to have with us today 17 National Marketing Associations presidents and board members who have joined us physically in Dhaka, as well as Professor Philip Kotler, who has joined us virtually from the United States. To start our evening, we will commence with an opening speech from our guest of honor, Professor Dr. M. Ismail Hussain, Pro Vice Chancellor of North South University. I'd like to invite Dr. M. Ismail Hussain, sir, to please come up on stage and say a few words.
We have been very fortunate today to have a set of distinguished professors from Singapore. I welcome you all to this meeting. We have with us the Dean of School of Business and Economics, other distinguished faculty members, and my dear students. Good evening. I welcome you all to this discussion session and the rest of the program with a warm heart. It is my honor and privilege to stand before you today on this auspicious occasion of celebration of Asia Marketing Day 2023. This day not only celebrates the power of marketing but also acknowledges the significant role that Asia plays in global business landscape. Marketing has always been at the forefront of driving growth, innovation, and change. It is the bridge that connects businesses with their customers, the catalyst that fuels economic progress, and driving force behind transformative ideas. In Asia, marketing has taken on a whole new dimension, adapting to the unique cultural nuances and embracing the immense diversity of this vibrant region. Asia, with its rich heritage and diverse traditions, is a treasure trove of opportunities for marketers. From these bustling streets of Tokyo to the vibrant markets of Mumbai, from the skyscrapers of Shanghai to the bustling night markets of Bangkok, Asia presents a kaleidoscope of markets waiting to be explored. The dynamism and energy that emanate from this continent are unparalleled, making it an irresistible destination for businesses seeking growth and expansion. However, the journey of marketing in Asia is not without its challenges. It demands a deep understanding of local customs, preferences, and consumer behavior. It requires marketers to navigate through a complex regulatory framework, adapt to technological advances, and leverage the power of data-driven insights. But it is precisely these challenges that present us with the opportunity to innovate, to think outside the box, and to redefine the future of marketing in Asia. Today, as we celebrate Asia Marketing Day 2023, Let us come together as a collective force to forge new paths, challenge conventional wisdom, and create lasting impact. Let us embrace the spirit of collaboration and knowledge sharing, for it is through collaboration that we can unlock the true potential of marketing in Asia. By fostering partnerships, exchanging ideas, and leveraging each other's strengths, we can build a vibrant ecosystem that propels businesses forward and drives sustainable growth. Let us also strive to be responsible marketers, leveraging our skills and expertise to create positive change in communities that we serve. On this occasion, let us also recognize the incredible talent within the marketing profession in Asia, including Bangladesh. The creative minds, that strategic thinkers, the visionaries, each one of you has a crucial role to play in shaping the future of marketing. Your ideas, your passion, and your dedication inspire us all to reach new heights of excellence in marketing in Asia. As we look forward, let us embrace the possibilities that lie before us. Let us embrace the diversity, the vibrancy, and the endless opportunities that Asia offers. Together, let us unleash the power of marketing to transform lives, drive innovation, and create a better future for all of us. Thank you, and may Asia Marketing Day be a resounding success. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, we wish our collaborative, socially responsible, and highly talented marketing entrepreneurs to be one of key drivers in shaping smart Bangladesh. Thank you all.
Please give a round of applause for Dr. M. Ismail Hussain, sir, for his valuable remarks. And now, the moment we all have been waiting for. Known around the world as the father of modern marketing, he has received honorary degrees from 22 universities, including Stockholm University, the University of Zurich, Athens University of Economics and Business, Budapest School of Economics and Administrative Science, the Krakow School of Business and Economics, and the Paul University. He is the author of over 150 articles and 90 books. It is our privilege to present the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Professor Philip Kotler. We will start his session in a few minutes after he joins us virtually. I'd like to introduce our panelists for today's discussion session. Our pa- and our visitors from Singapore. First, we have Mr. Roger Wong, President of Marketing Institute of Singapore Business School. We have Mr. Roger Loh Kit Phai, Singapore Management University, adjunct faculty, and Mr. Wang Ziling Lorraine, Marketing Institute of Singapore, Assistant Project Manager, China. Ms. Judy Ko, PA to the President Sales Manager, Marketing Institute of Singapore Business School. Dr. Low Ting Yong, General Manager, Marketing Institute of Singapore Business School. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay. There is an ongoing session conducted in Dhaka University, conducted by Professor Hanuman Kartajaya. After that session, Professor Philip Kotler will join our session.
See, no professor for sure, but he is well known because he is the founder of Gojek. Gojek is the motorcycle, and he becoming very rich. And after he is successful, very young, I think with Middle Eastern blood, yeah. But the wife is Catholic and Chinese blood. Is Middle Eastern blood, Muslim, and the wife is Catholic. In Indonesia, could be done because we are the biggest Muslim populated country in the world, but we are not Islamic country. Yeah, so here you are holiday now, Friday and Saturday. In Indonesia is Saturday and Sunday. So on Sunday we have a holiday, like including embassy. So it could be done in Indonesia because we have Pancasila, 5 principles. Believe in one God. As long as you believe in one God, you are Indonesian. If you don't believe in one God, you cannot. Number 2 is humanity. Number 3 is unity in diversity. Number 4 is democracy. And then number 5 is welfare, social welfare for everyone. 5 principles. So I think whoever will win the competition. But I'm interested to what Elon Musk argue. I don't believe on ChatGPT. I don't believe. And ChatGPT is dangerous. Dangerous. So he left ChatGPT and he promised to start TruthGPT. Because he told everyone that ChatGPT not only dangerous for the campus, but also will be dangerous to all over the world. Because with technology that everyone in the world can train the ChatGPT, everyone can train the ChatGPT, right? Guys train ChatGPT, right? Bad guys also. I think all the technologies from Industrial Revolution 1, 2, 3, 4 always have two sides, right? The good side and the bad side. So, means what? Means as the student, you are the future generation for 2041, you must make self mature faster. Yeah, you must get wisdom faster than before. In my generation, I'm a baby boomer, 76. This is not Hong Kong 75. This is Hermawan Kartajaya 75. This last year, 18th of November, I'm Scorpion. Scorpion, 18th of November. And I will celebrate 18th of November this year in Bangkok, in the temple of Wat Saket. I'm not Buddhist, but I try to be a monk for one night. It's okay. It's okay. In Indonesia, it's okay. So I can do it. And many people, huh? Really? Yeah. Because yeah, in Indonesia, we recognize 6 religion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I try. And there is a young monk, Ferhat, who graduated as a master degree in communication in UK, who liked my book, Marketing 5.0. Entrepreneur Marketing is the 11th book. I've been working with Professor Philip Kotler in 25 years already, and that is the 10th book. The 10th book and 2021 becoming best business book in the US. Even Professor Philip Kotler is happy, you know. He co-authored with many co-authors before, especially which made him very rich because of the textbook, for sure. I only trade book because I'm a failure story in formal education. I didn't complete my engineering degree, but finally, yes, I have a bachelor degree in business. That's why I love marketing. When I was in, I got bachelor degree by the age of 37 because I was teaching for 20 years mathematics and physics, and then after 15 years, the government found out you don't have any papers. You must go to get any bachelor. I don't want to go back to engineering school. And I go to business school. Never attended in one class. Never. But just learn accounting one night before the examination. Yes, true. I don't like accounting. Just to get score. Just to pass. Yeah, 5 years pass. Okay. And then my master degree from England, but UK, wow, University of Strathclyde. I have officially master of marketing, MSc, but I never use it. But because I never go to Strathclyde, it's distant learning. I just go to Singapore for examination, and then I think I didn't meet, I have not met any professor, but now they are very proud because I graduated from Strathclyde. But I went to Strathclyde, Glasgow for graduation only in the cathedral. Wow. Okay. And I saw, oh, this is my friend. Okay. So, and then I asked my staff, because I started my Mac Plus. Mac Plus company is the pioneer of marketing in Indonesia, consulting, training, research, now online, EO, whatever. As long as it is marketing, since 1998. 1990, and I have 10 staff, and one of the staff is MBA from Australia. Hey, now I have to write thesis. I don't know how to write thesis because my score is only 666, C, almost not passing my grade. Okay, I pay you. I still remember my staff at that time is Handi just graduated master degree from Australia. Hey, I give you my first car, and then you complete it. So you pretend to be me. Yeah, that is the real story. I never embarrassed to share it with you. What is the title? I don't know until now. I don't know what is my master thesis, and then pass. And then I came only for graduation. The mouth, you are very proud. Oh, this graduate from Slate. Okay. And my PhD is honorary doctorate degree from the engineering school that I didn't complete. Because they are very proud. Wow, Hermawan now is okay. And then they give me honorary doctorate degree as the first one. And then after that, so many offering, I don't want. Just one is enough. Professor, 5. Malaysia, Korea, and blah, blah. I don't need to use it because I don't have the right to use it. I don't have the right. So if you see this guy, I think Bill Gates from Harvard Business School, I don't know, he's graduated or not. No. And then Elon Musk, I don't know the university. Not so well known, I don't know. But they are rich and they are successful. So in Indonesia now, Ferhat, now the president asked the minister, the young minister, you transform all the campus. I give you 5 years time because the term is 5 years. This is the second term. I cannot become president anymore after this. In the last 5 years of my second term, you must transform. So all the university now in Indonesia, the professors are angry because they have to transform. You want to become bachelor degree, 8 semester. Now only 5 semester. They must learn from the campus. Credit point only 5. And the other 3, you can do it by yourself. You go to the becoming intern in company and then you get credit. You becoming teacher, teaching in the village. As long as you are good, you get credit. And then you can be the exchange student in Bangladesh or whatever. As long as the campus is recognized, okay. So that's why my company now saving a lot of money. Because they want to do internship in us. And they are good, even better than the full-time. I have 300 now, staff, only 100 full-time. 100 is contract, 2-year contract. And then the other 100 is internship. I don't need to pay. They need credit point. If they do internship in Mark Plus, wow, something happened. And we select carefully. Not so easy to be with. Yeah, after 33 years, after 33 years. But I'm fighting to do my company becoming, until now, is the leader of marketing consulting in Indonesia. Yeah, we are not McKinsey. We are only half of the McKinsey, the fee, half or 1/3. Yeah, we are not McKinsey, but we claim that we know Indonesia better than McKinsey. Yeah, you are world class, me world class also, because I'm the concept originator of all my book with Bill Potter, not the textbook, but trade book. Trade book and textbook is very different. Textbook, everything in the textbook, it must be proven already in the past. Yeah, but trade book is our prediction about the future. Like Marketing 6.0, we will publish again. Wiley, US, will publish again. And the marketing just 14th of March this year. But December they will publish again my other book, Marketing 6.0, as a continuation of 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. And I will continue until 8.0. 6.0 will be meta marketing. I just pick up the frame. I created the framework and I offer to Professor Philip Kotler and the publisher. Once they agree, we sign contract, and then somebody will write. I cannot write in English. My English is not good. I never go to US and nobody speak English in Indonesia. We are not Commonwealth country. Even the acting ambassador, I think the English is not perfect. So he said, wow, in Bangladesh, everybody speak English very well, especially in the campus. In the campus of Indonesia, wow, not so many. Not so many can speak English. So we have the handicap. We have the handicap. Yeah, but I'm fighting. Even my English is not good. In 1998, when I met Professor Philip Kotler in Moscow, Asia was in crisis, and Indonesia the most crisis hit country in 1998. Asian crisis, not in Bangladesh. I think Thailand, Korea, Indonesia, the most crisis in country. And I was the president of Asia Pacific Marketing Federation. At that time, it's not AMF, APMF. We changed into AMF with Kotler. We don't need the Pacific anymore because Asia Pacific created by APEC is created by US. I need to collaborate with US professor, but not all must be from US. And now Asia Marketing Federation under Professor Berhat becoming big and big. Nepal just becoming new country and blah, blah, blah. So Professor Philip Kotler met me in Moscow for the first time in 1998. About what? Asian crisis. He does not know anything about Asian crisis. I know a little bit because the most crisis in the country. So in the press conference, Hermawan, you answer all the questions. Okay, no worry. And this is what Chinese saying said. Crisis is Wei Qi, Wei Xian and Qi Wei, dangers and opportunity. Opportunity for me. I got an invitation to Moscow because they want to know about what happened in Indonesia. Indonesia from social economic crisis becoming social crisis and finally becoming political crisis. Wow. And then I'm the one. And then in the middle of the conversation at lunch, because nobody spoke English at that time in Russia, they left us. Two of us. This is very luxurious. Yeah? Very luxurious. And you know my name from Professor Warren Keegan's book. We just went to the library of American University this morning. And my staff just, Giovanni, but this is Global Marketing Management by Warren Keegan. This is the most famous textbook in one. He died already. But he included my model over there for the first time. And Philip Kotler used this in teaching global marketing in Kellogg School of Management. And he reminded me, oh, you must be Hermawan, yeah? The crazy guy from Indonesia. I like your model. 12C, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Please explain to me. Wow. Just lucky. But I'm fighting. I'm fighting. I'm fighting. Not only praying, but praying and working very hard. Yeah? And then finally, to make it short, he asked me to write together about Asian crisis. Only 5 languages. Now more than 20 always. That's why John Wiley is trusting us so much. It's very easy now. Every model that I propose, yes. Now they offer the second edition of entrepreneur marketing. First edition, first episode. My English is so bad, sorry. First episode is EM, but second episode, I will sign contract. I will sign contract soon, and December 1, the other deadline. And next year will be published again. Can you imagine? This year, EM1, and then Marketing 6.0, and in New York, first quarter next year. And I'm 76 this year. I still want to work. Hermawan, you must work with me until I'm becoming 100, 2031. This year, today is his birthday, 92nd birthday, 92nd, 1931. So you want to work with me until 2031. Wow. Not 2041, 2031. 100 years. How can? I'm diabetic for 37 years. Yes, American and Indonesian are different. Our food is different. Our habit is different. Our education is different. No, Phil. But I promise to you, marketing 6.0, 7.0, and 8.0 will be finished. And EM1, EM2, and EM3 finish. After that, finish. Yeah, so. Huh? Yeah. Please give time to Philip Potter now. Yeah. I will continue after this.
Yeah, we'll pick it up then after later. So we'll just do it now. To speak and then Kotler session.
Yeah. Kotler will be ready. Yeah. Okay. So tell me when I have to stop first. So you don't care. I don't care about this one, but I am interested to what Elon Musk talk. Trust GPT is much more important than ChatGPT. Next. And this one, US China. Now China is ready to challenge US. I dare to state that we are too westernized, including me. I sent my son and my daughter to US in high school and bachelor degree and master degree. Now I want my grandson to go to China. Speak Mandarin. English is commodity. English is me too. Everybody speak English. Whether fluent or not is another matter. But now, I don't agree if China will be dominating the world without the West. But we try to get the good things from West and China. It's good for US. He is a challenger. It's good. And Indonesia, the president is very smart. Yeah, make friend with this one and make friend with this one. We want to be neutral. And not easy to be neutral. Not easy. But this is my message to you. Let's be neutral. In AMF also, we don't want to be westernized also. Philip Kotler is not westernized. He's American, but he is very, very global. He respects all religion, all tribe, all whatsoever. You know Philip Kotler? Yeah, Philip Kotler is very good. So, China and US. Now? Okay. You?
Then we'll give it.
Oh, you will introduce.
No, I'll go there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sitting.
Give it to you. Yeah. Thank you, Professor Herman, for sharing your insightful story and our future directions. Now I'm inviting our Honorable Professor Dr. Mohammad Mizanur Rahman, sir, for delivering his speech. Thank you.
So thank you, everybody. Here we have that the smartest minister of Bangladesh, IT Minister Jonathan Pollock, and also our foreign guest, Professor Herman Kartajawa, and other distinguished guests. My job is just introducing Mr. Philip Kotler here. So I have much pleasure to introduce Mr. Philip Kotler, the marketing guru, and obviously my guru also. Kotler, the eldest of the three sons of his Ukraine-Russian origin parents. Kotler born in Chicago on May 27th, 1931. He studied at DePaul University for 2 years and accepted without a bachelor's degree into master's program at the University of Chicago in 1953. In that sense, we can say Mr. Kotler still is a bachelor. He never passed his bachelor degree, and it is not possible to get this bachelor degree from anywhere. Completed his PhD at MIT in 1956 and earned both degrees in economics. He studied under the Nobel laureate in economics science, Milton Friedman, Paul Samuelson, and Robert Solon. He did a year postdoctoral work in mathematics at Harvard University in 1960 and also behavioral science in University of Chicago in 1961. In 1967, Kotler published Marketing Management, Analysis, Planning, and Control, now in its 15th edition and most widely adopted textbook in the graduate school of business. On December 9, 1996, the Financial Times cited the marketing management as one of the 50 greatest business books of all time. Kotler, the author and co-author of over 166 published articles and 80 books. Kotler has received 22 honorary degrees from almost all the prestigious institutions and universities of this globe. Kotler has done more than any other writer or scholar to promote the importance of marketing, transforming it from peripheral activity and bolted and as an important job of production. He has brought in the concept of marketing from more selling to a general process of communication and exchange, has shown how marketing can be extended, applied to charities and non-profit and non-business situation. Kotler popularized the topic as such as STP, social marketing, demarketing, brand activism, marketing of arts, place marketing, as well as challenges facing capitalism, democracy, and common good. In 1920, Kotler was voted all-time best 3 gurus in management and business. He is the most influential business writer in the world. Kotler's contributions are described in at least one chapter in every book written the gurus of business and management. He continues to be an influential figure in marketing industry and sought after consultant and speaker around the world. And today is the 92nd birthday of Mr. Philip Kotler. We are gathered here in this occasion to wish him happy birthday to Mr. Philip Kotler. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Mokbizan Roman, sir, for introducing Philip Kotler, although we all of us know him as well. And in the first slide of Professor Harmawan, he was showing how artificial intelligence robots are actually changing the rest of the world. So if you notice, for the last 10 years, you can see American-based Boston Dynamics, they're making industrial robots. From England, ABB robots. Already, Bangladeshi company Walton introduced ABB robots in their factory in Chandra. I traveled there. And German-based company KUKA Robots. KUKA Robots are actually making all the BMW and Mercedes. So robots are coming. And like Robot Sophia, all of you know Robot Sophia. And more updated version of Robot Sophia is Emeka. Robot Emeka has more sophistication. And this type of hands-on robotics is making Robot Sophia. So future will be led by robots, AI, and hence marketing. Just look around in our community and across the world. You can see in future, all of the companies will be a tech company. Number one thing, remember, all of the companies will be tech company, and they will digitally transform them to save their business, to save the other thing. They will introduce cyber security, and they will need smart citizen. So other than waiting you, I'm just inviting for the man who is actually our focus today, Professor Philip Kotler. So he'll be sharing, he'll be joining from USA, and it is early morning there, I should believe. Yeah. So welcoming Philip Kotler in the screen, and then let's hear what he says, and we'll wish him a very auspicious birthday to him. Did you connect?
This is Philip Kotler, and I am very happy to have this opportunity to share my own experiences and conclusions about where marketing is going. Marketing is definitely changing, but where is it going? This first picture you see shows three recent books of mine that people have been reading. The first one, 5.0, is really about the new digital revolution in marketing. The second book, called H2H Marketing, is about human-to-human marketing. We must always remember that people talking to people is what the essence of marketing is about. Each party trying to create value for the other party. And the third book was just published, called Entrepreneurial Marketing, and it makes a distinction between professional marketing and the need also for entrepreneurial marketing, and I'll say more about that. So about this talk, I see it as a great opportunity for me to speak at your gathering about where business and marketing are going. My view of how marketing is changing is a personal view, but I hope it will be an insightful view. I will comment on four things. First, what might the world look like that we are moving toward? Two, what will be the purpose and contribution? Three, what will be the purpose and contribution of marketing? And four, what will be the role of government? So starting with the big picture, the biggest picture, what might the world look like? I might say that it's pretentious for anyone to predict the future. I can only quote the great Mahatma Gandhi, who said, the future's going to depend on what we do in the present. Our own choices will. Management father said the same thing. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So the questions that come up about the future of the world are such as, will it be a world of abundance or of scarcity? Or to go further, maybe it will be a world where there's abundance in some parts of the world and continued scarcity in other parts, which we have now, and perhaps we can get more of the world abundant. Another question is, would it be a world of peace or war? And of course, we are hoping that we will finally learn the lesson of nature and everything else, that peace is so priceless, we must avoid wars whenever we can. And third, will it be a world of opportunity or one of dread and suffering? and let's make it a world of opportunity for all. Now, one final remark about the world was Woody Allen's remark. I must say it's kind of gloomy. One path leads to despair and utter hopelessness, the other to total extinction. Let us pray that we have the wisdom to choose correctly. Well, he only gave us two forks in the road, both of which are despairing. We have a broader picture of that. See my next slide. And this is called the problem of the fork in the road. It came from really the great futurist Buckminster Fuller in his writing. And he said there were two paths: utopia, which is the one we all want to take as the path, or oblivion. Now, I want to modify that. I'm going to make three paths. We're going to start with oblivion and where we are. We are where the X is shown. We're moving toward oblivion. In other words, the dying of the planet. We're not there yet. We haven't done enough to kill the planet. You see a dot following the X. Do not go past that point of no return. Once we do, it's oblivion. We should backtrack. And in backtracking, we either slowly cut the fossil fuel business, which is threatening the life of the planet, or we even leap faster somehow to what is a mode called survival, where we are certainly not going to have the planet heat up to such a point that life is not possible on the planet. And then we would have a chance for utopia. So let's work on that premise best. Let's move on. I've done some work with my friend Christian Sakar, identifying the worst problems of the world. And I've identified 7 problems, and we call them the wicked 7. One of them is the death of nature. We've been very abusive of plants and animals and nature. And we can say more about that in the book that we are publishing soon called The Wicked 7 Problems, in which case we take each problem, show the damage that's been done, and what could be done to save the situation. You'll notice inequality is a wicked problem, and it's always been with us. What can we do about it? And behind that and underlying that is hate and conflict. Why do we have so much hate and conflict? And then there's the problem of power and corruption, and how power leads to corruption often. And so much of it is happening. We have to have better discipline. And then what is happening to the world of work and technology? Are we going to run that world, or is it going to run us? Delicious and healthy, low-calorie processed food, and robot butlers cleaning our homes, and decriminalization centers that will help criminals reform, peacemaking centers, sociability centers so people aren't lonely and they meet other people, and maybe a handful of utopian cities which we can admire and try to copy in our own cities. That's an optimistic look for the future. But let's move now to business. And we recognize there are four big forces changing everything, namely new technologies, the fact that countries deal with other countries in trade and in messaging, and there's globalization, and that the physical environment is strong, but often we abuse it, and sustainability and other questions have arisen. And then the whole force of social responsibility toward other people, toward nature, and so on. Now, all of this in the context of changing consumer capabilities. Today's consumer is much more sophisticated than past consumers, but companies are more sophisticated. And there's new competitive capabilities, and even the government is playing a more active role in many places. So moving on, I'd like to share my view of the early history of business and how it evolved to today's business. Because going back in time, we saw companies, small ones normally, and they knew how to make something, how to market those things. But you know, it was a world of shortages. So anything that was made, it produced a lineup of people ready to buy those things. We say that's a state of undersupply. Undersupply means anyone who makes anything can sell it because there's not enough to go around. However, we've moved over time into a world of oversupply, where there are many competitors making more things than we can actually afford with the level of pay and earnings that average people have. So we're in a world of oversupply. And so these companies have to learn something new, not just to make more product, but how to market what they make and make a living, a good margin in what they are selling. So companies turn to advertising agencies to learn marketing. And what they really learned was a distorted view of marketing, as if the whole thing is about an ad, a powerful ad, getting someone suddenly to know about a product, feel good about that product and buy it. So marketing turns out to be much more than just advertising. And it meant that there was a company had to touch at least four things in what we call their marketing mix. Marketing was more than just promotion and advertising. So the original marketing mix tools were the 4 Ps. It's a coincidence that they all use the letter P at the beginning. Product, price, place, and promotion. Now I, in my 16th edition of marketing management, changed this to a 7 set of tools, not a 4 set of tools. And they are, again, product, which was one of them, but we want to separate service out and make it as important as the product, so we give that enough attention. Now, price was always in the 4 Ps, but you know, you set a price, but you do a lot of things to move your product beyond that price, because if it's not moving, you want to give additional incentives. You want to say a 20% discount if you buy today, or 2 for the price of 1. So the whole field of incentives should be separated from the setting of the normal price. And then we want to not use the word promotion, but the word communication, and establish a very good communicating system and a very good distribution system covering many channels that can carry our product to the customers. And then I want the word brand to be worked on and built all the time and protected all the time. So if a company works with these 7 ideas, they will have a very good plan, hopefully. And the companies will start with, of course, what we call STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. In other words, probably there's only a limited number of people who have any interest in your offering. What segment of need do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve? Do you want to serve young people and their wish to drink something, whether it's a Coke or whether it's orange juice or a alcoholic drink? Who's your segment? So you can target that group better and position what you're offering in a more meaningful way. Your value, you can state a value proposition of what the user will get from the product. That's positioning. And then we move to a digital world, from an analog world to a digital world. And we're increasingly recognizing a change. In the past, there were only two groups that the company paid attention to: customers and investors. In other words, know your customer so well that they will buy enough of your product so that profits are made, which go to the investors only. But that has been changing from a shareholder view of the company, that is, the company maximizes the wealth of the shareholders, to a stakeholder view of the company, that there's 6 or 7 groups that have made the success of that company, and rewards should be proportional to their contributions. And that is gaining very much, this whole view of serving the stakeholders of the company and rewarding them. And then companies are now becoming AI oriented, and we believe that artificial intelligence offers many, many new opportunities, and that companies are getting very analytical in approaching the market and trying to understand the market behavior. Okay, so wrapping this up, the world is changing at a fast rate. It's destroying old businesses that did not adjust, and it's forming new big companies all the time. And businesses therefore need to change with changing market opportunities. However, too many companies do not change. They might not recognize changes or have the capability to change. Too many managers focus on existing procedures and bureaucracy. In other words, they are professional people running the company, but that's not enough. You need to also be entrepreneurial. And I'll make more of that point about the difference between being a company with professional marketers, and I say that is not enough. They must also have entrepreneurial marketers, and I'll say more about that. So let's ask two things. One is, what are the business characteristics in the post-COVID world? And then we'll turn to what are the customer characteristics. So first with business, I think you will agree with the following. More companies are vulnerable to disruptors. Disruptors come along with either a lower price for the same product or a product with more features than the present firms are offering. So disruption is something every company has to worry about being replaced by a better offer in some way, either lower cost or more value created. So you got to list as a company, ask your people to sense what the possible disruptors might be, because the message becomes this: if you're going to be disrupted, you should do the disruption to yourself before the others do it. Another thing, more companies collect detailed consumer data, and they apply what we call machine learning to produce actionable marketing insights. That's why you take all this data that you've collected to get a better understanding of what prompts a customer to decide on your brand instead of the other brand. And we're making progress in getting insights that way. Third, more startups will emerge to do direct-to-consumer marketing. We call it sometimes DCM, where some startup firm decides that there are consumers having a need that is not supplied well by the existing shops or online services, whatever. And in fact, the invention of online made it possible for startup firms to get the names of consumers who have a certain need, and these startups can place their offers directly to consumers who do not have to go to a shop buying a standard product, but who will buy their new startup product. So this is challenging store-based marketers. And as a result, online sales are growing faster than in-store sales. Is it possible that we won't need stores in the future because everything could be ordered for direct delivery to the customer? We'll talk about that. Brand building requires more than traditional marketing tools. Yes, advertising is a very big input in brand building, but there's much more involved in brand building than just advertising. Sales growth will depend on smart online behavioral targeting, where you know who you want to reach and how to reach them. And companies will move to brand activism, that the brand might even be richer to both the employees and customers and the public, because it takes a stand on something the public cares about. Of course, a company could never get involved with any cause and just sell what it makes, but more companies are now believing that taking some concern about the state of the world might be in their advantage. And we believe that companies will do increasingly more in-house advertising and promotion, and leave it to the advertising agencies to do those things they can't do. In other words, companies will find out there are some parts of preparing a good advertising campaign that they can handle themselves, and then use from the ad agencies and promoters what they can't make up in their own company. Let's move on. You know, businesses will have to change their purpose. This, you know, profitability has been the historical purpose of a company. Their job is to keep building the demand for their products and services. Hopefully that there would be endless economic growth and job creation. The new issue is this: industrialization increases all the time, and in doing that, it produces more carbon in the world that is warming the planet. And that means people in the worst parts of the world, where near the equator, will find breathing to be impossible. They will flee. They will put pressure on Europe and other places where they can at least avoid this heat and cause great problems in the world. So we should do our best to neutralize industrialization by moving from fossil fuels, which is the basis of our energy system, to non-fossil fuels, to wind and to solar energy and water energy and so on, in which case we would delay and maybe prevent the warming of the planet. So now this means that it's not enough to just pursue profitability. Every decent firm will also try to pursue sustainability along with profitability. And in fact, that calls upon the firm the job of reshaping the consumption of products and the design of products in the interest of saving the planet. I'm not saying that we're going to move to degrowth as a major theme. In other words, the degrowth of population, the degrowth of bigger economies. No, it could be just maybe about slower growth, more rational growth of the world economy. And does sustainability impact profits negatively? I would argue the opposite, that the firms that have taken to heart real sustainability have learned so many things about waste and how to use and reuse the same resources again and again. And those firms are practicing what we call circularity. They are letting resources be used again and again. We say recover, reuse, and recycle existing products and resources. Use water more carefully. Minimize the use of packaging and especially reduce the use of plastics. Use more efficient lighting, heating, and air conditioning, and minimize your driving and flying because it's always producing carbon. So that's a new purpose. At least it adds sustainability to profitability in the hands of business. By the way, in terms of taking a cause, some cause that your company might believe in, we have evidence of many companies that have identified a cause. Avon as a company which sells cosmetics and so on to many, many women, know that women are concerned with the terrible problem of breast cancer and want to support all the research that can be done to minimize this kind of event happening to any woman. And they've raised millions and millions of dollars. And the women who shop at Avon know that and appreciate that cause. I won't comment on the others, but we have written books that mention many of the causes and how they've worked out. But moving on, let me say that a company today has three styles of marketing. And remember, the purpose of marketing is to create real value. You're talking about how to create value for others. Marketing 1.0 is the old method where you use your mind to understand the customer. You think you're a customer, so you understand what customers are like, even without research. Your whole focus is on the product that you sell, whether it's an automobile or a refrigerator or a drink or something. And you're going to spend your time messaging the economic value of what you just made for customers because your aim is just profits. That's 1.0 marketing. 0.20 marketing comes more from the heart. You're caring for the customer. You value your employees and other people working with you and for you. And you want to improve social progress for everyone. That's good. That's better than 1.0. And then there's 3.0, which some companies, to them, it's more than heart, it's spirit. And they are not only value driven, but values driven. They have a set of clear values. Among them is environment. And their goal is human happiness. So the question is, where's your company now? Is it a 1.0 or a 2.0 or 3.0 company? Where do you want your company to be? Now, if you're millennials, you probably want your company to be at least 2.0, if it's only 1.0 in its practice. And why? Because you feel more proud of your company for being caring of the job they're doing. And you would have to spell out the steps you would take to get the company to move from 1.0 to 2.0 or possibly to 3.0. A book that I find very useful to cite, and many of you have already used the book, and I think it's in the second edition now. I wish I had written that book, written by three wonderful scholars. called firms of endearment, which is a fancy way to say companies that people love. Firms of endearment. And the scholars studied companies and found 25 companies that consumers would say, I love that company. They would say, boy, if Coke disappeared, I don't know what I would do. I don't want to drink the other drinks. So in different ways, these were 25 companies. Apple was another company that people said, if Apple disappeared, I don't know what I'm going to do because I have a Mac and I love that company and its cell phone and so on. So what they found out is all 25 companies that customers love were stakeholder driven, not shareholder driven, which I alluded to. And these firms of endearment were highly profitable and they outperformed the overall market's performance by a 9-to-1 ratio over a 10-year period. In other words, they outperformed all of their competitors. And at these companies, employees were happier, more motivated, more loyal, more innovative. The suppliers were more profitable and environment improved in all of these communities. So the evidence was that stakeholder capitalism is superior to shareholder capitalism. Now, the interesting thing is all 25 companies shared the following 8 characteristics. First, they said they cared about all the stakeholders. Secondly, the executive salaries were high, but relatively modest in terms of some other companies which really pay so many more times what the average worker is paid. 3, the management operated an open door policy. Yes, you can meet me if you have an idea. Don't worry that I'm the boss and you're 3 levels down. I'm even open to hearing from you if you have a great idea. And these companies paid good compensation with good benefits. Their employees were trained longer and the turnover was lower. Even in choosing workers, these companies wanted to choose people who were passionate about creating value for customers. And these companies view the suppliers as very important partners who collaborate on improving productivity and quality and lowering cost. And they believe that their corporate culture is their greatest asset and the primary source of their competitive advantage. Now, finally, and this is something that will blow your mind, their marketing costs were much lower than their peer competitors, while customer satisfaction and retention was much higher. Wow, you mean to say that these companies don't have to spend as much? Why would that be? Well, clearly it's because most of the broadcasting is being done by who? By their satisfied customers, by word of mouth. These companies have created customers who become advocates of the firm and introduce in ordinary conversations. Oh, if you're buying a car, you better look at CarX. That's a great car. So much of the work is done without buying it. So we're beginning to realize that in spite of having advertising, in spite of having a sales force, most of the work of creating a strong brand is done by the customers who are so excited by the company that they broadcast for that company. Well, let's move forward. So that I said basically that marketing's role is to be professional cheerleaders in part, and there's much more. We want the marketers to be entrepreneurial in the sense of being visionaries, of having a vision of what's possible, always spotting new opportunities, comfortable taking some risks, and trying to build networks around their business that will continue to support the progress of the business. and that the aim of marketing is, of course, to sell the products, but on the broader way, it's to improve lives and the well-being of customers, employees, investors, and other stakeholders. Sometimes that's called servant leadership, that you can be proud of service to others because by performing good service, you're really serving yourself as well. So the role of marketing, let's look at it more closely. Marketing is clearly a driving force in an economy. First, it shapes the rate of economic growth. I would guess that an economy without marketers would grow slower. Secondly, marketing determines the mix of the society's products and services, because not only do companies make what is needed, but they often visualize what would add value even if they were not in these products were not in existence. I mean, Steve Jobs said he's not making this thing he called a cell phone because people knew about it and asked for it. No, he wasn't meeting a need. He was offering something that when noticed by consumers, they will appreciate how much help that cell phone will be in conducting their own lives and affairs. So we sometimes say marketing is not only market driven, but maybe market driving. I'll say more about that shortly. Now, marketing can be run in a society in two ways. The society, like the American society, might say companies are free to determine their products, prices, places, and promotion as they wish. Free. That's called a free state of marketing with very little regulation and so on. Or the government may set a lot of rules to guide marketers to make the right decisions. The rules can be very restrictive or they could be very broad. I created the following rules that might guide marketing practice in a society, and why not say products should create no harm. I mean, which means that we should have look at cigarettes and so on and wonder whether we should allow them to be so promoted because they do cause heart attacks and cancer and other bad things. So I think it's reasonable that the society makes a determination that certain products have to be eliminated because they create harm. Prices of basic needed products should not be excessive for low-income people. I mean, bread, everyone needs bread for survival. And if the prices of bread keeps going up, it puts such pressure on low-income people. So a good society would make sure that basic needed products by low-income people are affordable. Not only that these basic needed products are available to every location where there are low-income people. And that promotion should be truthful and not high pressure or all the time high pressure. It should be truthful and effective. And a brand should not attack other brands so much as focus on its own virtues. And one can develop a set of rules for a nation that's starting out to want to guide marketing practice. These would be some of the rules. But what is marketing today? Marketing has become applied economics. So that's its father, economics. But it's a mix also of social science and the economic theory and organizational theory. That was what I set out to do in my 1967 book, Marketing Management, to make marketing based on these foundations. And it's a force that shapes our wants and lifestyles. And it undergoes continuous change. To show that, I use a story that happened. A CEO heard me give a talk, and came up to me afterwards and he had a copy of my book, but what book? The 1967 textbook that I wrote at that time called Marketing Management. And he says, I learned a lot from the book. I still use it. Would you sign it? I said to the CEO, are you still using it? The 1967 marketing? He says, yes, I look up things that happen and find it helpful. I said, you know, marketing has changed so much since 67. In fact, I'm on my 16th edition. He says, are you trying to sell me another book? I said, yes, because if you want to know anything about brand equity or about digital marketing or things that really count today, you got to recognize that marketing is not the same as geometry. I could teach you geometry that was taught back 2,000 years ago and there would be no change in the subject. But marketing changes every period. In fact, we wrote a book called Marketing 4.0, then Marketing 5.0. We're now working on Marketing 6.0 because every few years new things happen. Anyways, and another thing about the future of marketing, buyers will be able to select best brands without resorting to advertising or sales people. Increasingly, although marketing traditionally is about some advertising and salespeople, we know that the consumers are able to get so much information before or wanting any advertising or salespeople. Marketing success will depend mostly on smart pricing, strong branding, and owning dominant channels of distribution. Marketing creativity will be crucial to achieving marketing success. Innovate or die. Marketers will make more use of customer journey map. Personas marketing, creating artificial personas to help the copywriters know who they're trying to reach. More content marketing and more use of influencers, because in the digital age, there are some people who have thousands or maybe millions of followers. Boy, if we can get them to use our product visibly, then many of the followers want to be using what the people they like so much are using. And then marketers will use predictive analytics and machine learning to identify and convert best prospects. So what about government and all this? Remember, I said there were 4 groups, and government is one of them. And we can't answer the future. There are different systems. We could be in a system of unregulated free market competition, which was highly the form we operated in for so many years. Some regulations, but mostly free market competition and capitalism. American stakeholder capitalism may get strong with regulations and social responsibilities. I think we're moving in that direction from free market capitalism. I happen to favor Nordic capitalism, which believes that certain areas should be public, available to the public in an affordable way. For example, free education, free college education, rather than such the family with 3 children, each facing a college education of $200,000 makes it almost impossible for the earnings of the person to afford that. Nordic capitalism, what's done in Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland, they charge more to the rich people in the society, a higher income tax, and they have enough money to make college education freer or less expensive, and also to the health. Everyone is covered in their health needs at a much lower cost because more money is raised for these public sector needs. And then we have to worry about moving into a system where the authorities are more authoritarian and democracy melts into what is fascism. And people are told what books you could read and not read. And they're telling women that the women cannot make the choice of what to do with their bodies. That will have to be a government decision. And if they're pregnant, they're going to have to deliver on that pregnancy all the way, even if they were raped and things like that. So we have to be sure we're preserving the right government or carrying out our marketing. And I'm going to leave with this slide because I use it in the human to human H2H book. There's 3 types of bad marketing. Don't do unethical marketing. It'll backfire on you if you do. And don't do a lot of wasteful marketing of steps that you take that don't add up to anything. And then there's some of your marketing which is inane. It's kind of silly. You're shouting sales talks and all that. Is it working really? Do H2H marketing. Do it people to people, good people caring about other people, wanting both sides to be winners. Every transaction should produce 2 winners, the buyer and the seller. And so I want to leave you with this message, and I'm very serious about it. Within 5 years, and I'm talking about your company, if you're in the same business as you are in now, you're going to be out of business. Things are changing all the time. And by the way, it's not only profitability that you should be good at. If you don't add sustainability, you will definitely be out of business in the next years. Thank you very much. I know I said a lot of things and I hope you took some notes, but I think marketing adds great value to any economy. And I've tried to describe some of the aspects that make your marketing great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Philip Kotler, for your wonderful insights about marketing and the future.
Thank you, Professor Philip Kotler, for that amazing, insightful session. Surely we'll take these learnings to enrich our future endeavors. Now, we will move on to an engaging panel discussion focused on the topic, how entrepreneurial marketing essence can help shape future smart citizens. The panel will be moderated by the esteemed Dr. Halal Ahmed, Professor and Dean SB, North-South University, and Director, Economics Research Platform. And the panelists are Mr. Roger Wang, Second Vice President, Asia Marketing Federation, Mr. Asif Iqbal, Group Chief Executive Officer, Hamid Group, Mr. Mohammad Aminul Haq, Chief Financial Officer, Nagod, Ms. Nazia Andali Prima, Director and Creative Editor, Bangladesh Brand Forum, and Dr. Niaz Ahmed, Professor, Department of Marketing and International Business, North-South University, Professor Emeritus SCSU USA. I would like to call all the panelists on stage. Together, they will explore the role of entrepreneurial marketing in fostering the development of smart citizens who will drive the future of our nation. Please give a big round of applause for our panelists as they take the stage.
Hello.
Stay there, and then you can figure out.
I invite our Honorable Dean, Professor Dr. Halal Ahmed sir, to start the session.
It's been quite an evening, right? We have very enriching speeches, deliveries, and covering the materials from very famous books, and couldn't be expecting a better learning class, if you like, right? I'm coming from economics, and this is about marketing. So, as an economist, I have to market myself too. So, it's very relevant from that perspective. Well, talking about marketing, this is our um, in-house offering for this evening. We are very, as our MC already suggested, we got very distinguished group of panelists from here in Bangladesh, uh, and also we are very privileged to have our one of our panelists and our guest who were introduced earlier in this event from Singapore. A bit of, I haven't had a chance to exchange views with our panelists, but I'm setting the rules somewhat if it is okay with you. Because we're talking about the title, as you have heard, that how entrepreneurial marketing enhance, how entrepreneurial marketing actions can help shape future smart citizen. So I'm emphasizing on smart citizen because for smart marketing is required to deal with smart citizens. So we need to know what smart citizens are. And also there are, from coming from academia, right? We are in the business of educating some of the future marketeers. So we like to know what gaps are there in terms of grooming the future marketeers, and what are the initiatives taken in every country, especially from our visiting, one of the visiting panelists and his colleagues' country, one of the leaders in technology and smart marketing, all that in Asia. So we'd like to know all this. So two themes, what smart citizen means to you, and what, from your perspective, are being done in your country or in your company and all that. So with that, I'll probably open this panel discussions, offering our distinguished panelists, each of them, to have some opening remarks. And then I'll ask you some questions as we go. So first, of course, he doesn't need any more introductions. So he's introduced Roger Wong.
Thank you, everyone. Very good evening. I know. Well, basically, I'm both. Let's touch on the entrepreneurial marketing itself. In fact, this topic was being picked up in 2018, back in Singapore, where we have a forum, and we call it the marketpreneur. Meaning, you are a marketer, and at the same time, you possess the entrepreneur spirit. Okay, and I think in today's context itself, I think you've heard from Professor Philip Kotler and Pak Hermawan Kartujaya, which is the founder of Asia Marketing Federation. They're talking about the entrepreneurial marketing itself. So in my context itself, I think the entrepreneurial marketing is actually the vehicle that's behind being a marketpreneur. Okay, so the spirit behind the marketpreneur itself. Now, if you talk about smart citizens of the future itself, we are actually looking at all of you. Okay, perhaps let me give you an analogy itself. If I'm looking at Prof right now, Prof, you think in the near future itself, all the students that you have, the university students that you have, do you think they will surpass you in terms of the way that they think, the way that they use this technology, Prof? Definitely, right? So I think it will actually progress and transform in terms of humanity. Okay, and leveraging on the technology that's available to you right now and in future itself, I think it's one of the key factor of being the smart citizens of the future itself. So certainly, what about you? What do you think? You will think that you will surpass your prof right now? I would like to hear from the students. Do you think you will? How many think you will? Please put up your hands.
Don't be shy. Come on.
You see, so that's the dilemma. You see, well, our prof here are actually using whatever means that they can in actually educating and inculcating the spirit of an entrepreneur in you including marketing. But the students of today are in doubt of their future, which in fact, I think the future actually lies in your hand. Now, if I were to say pretty much on digital marketing itself, in fact, if today, if I were to hire a digital marketer, looking at his profile, and if the age group, it's probably, I'll just talk about generally speaking, 45, 50, and I'm not convinced that he'll be able to do a great digital marketing job or even on social media marketing. I would hire people perhaps around your age or slightly above your age itself, which you are. So henceforth, the smart citizens, I would think in the future itself, will know how to leverage on AI technology, which currently we are all talking about it, convergence of AI technology together with marketing backed by entrepreneurial spirit to be able to bring this to the next level of being a entrepreneur marketer. So hence, I think the generation is yours. Our future lays in your hand. So as if I've actually asked you questions, do you think you will be able to surpass your professors currently right now, your lecturer right now? I'm pretty certain, as what your prof has actually mentioned, you will. So adopt technology and at the same time have the entrepreneurial spirit, adopt marketing as a practices. I think in the future will be bright on that. Okay, so I guess I will have that to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roger Wong. Can I just move on to our next panelist, Mr. Asif Iqbal, Group Chief Executive Officer, Amit Group. Please make some opening remarks. And if you want to define what, in your view, it means smart citizen.
Good evening, everyone. কেমন আছেন আপনারা? Good. So I'm very privileged to be here one more time. Probably I haven't met you, but I've met a lot of your predecessors. So for me, a smart citizen has got three things, or a smart consumer have got three things. Number one is digitally and technologically aware. Number two is he or she has got socially responsible attitude. And third is she or he has got bias for action. So they want to do something about improving themselves, their families, and their society at large. So that's smart citizen. We have been living into an era of information asymmetry. So business or marketing used to happen in terms of looking at perspective of you know something I don't know, and therefore the transaction can happen because I can fulfill the knowledge or the information gap that you have, or you can fulfill the knowledge and information gap that I have, and as a result you can solve that problem with a product, service, or an idea. Now the cat is out of the bag. The technology has given everything at the same. And I will slightly differ with Mr. Roger, and I will say that what the professor knows and what you will know, or what your children will know, the information will be almost same. As a result, you need to really create responsible marketing to make sure that you are not really finding an opportunity to get into growth marketing, though you need to have a growth mindset, meaning that you have to have continuous learning. You need to have this quest for excellence, because by 2030 to 40, the world is going to get into error-free world. As a result, you cannot, change. For example, you don't have to go to hospital. Probably you will be getting into home vitals. Like, my diabetic measurement every day will be happening with a small machine. And my blood pressure can be measured with my watch. So if those are the kind of solutions that are coming, so there will be increased requirement of marketeers to behave responsibly. And therefore, I think that I will be talking a little later about a few things in terms of how a marketer should be shaping themselves up to have a future ready attitude. And that's number one, you need a philosophy. You need to be clear in terms of what you would like to achieve. I will, in the second round, I will talk a little bit more about the philosophy that I possess, so that, and my philosophy of today will be changing tomorrow. That's for sure. And everybody will be into the same spectrum, because this technology best is really making us change every day. Now, also, you have to have certain fundamentals. Like Professor Kotler, when he was saying that, there will be demarketing that is required, degrowth that is required, not overconsumption. Because, the more we waste, the more we consume, actually, we create more, pressure to the world, because, the carbon emissions, the wastes, everything is putting a lot of pressure in terms of really the population that the world can hold, and the population of today is really creating a new challenge for all of us. So you need to have perfect values that you need to possess. And also, I would say that you need to have, the personal code of conduct. A lot of people say that, business code of conduct, but you need to have your own personal code of conduct as a marketer. You need to have your own competencies honed out apart from your skills. You need to understand the global trends, and also you need to understand that the mega trends, for example, from a hegemonic world to a multipolar world that you have been seeing, that, it's not everything America is going to dictate. The American books will be more and more less relevant. And, the powers like China, powers like India will be emerging. And as a result, in this different world, when you are really selling to the global consumers, you need to really find out different and differentiated strategies to get into this. So there will be mega trends, there will be game changers. Those are the kind of things that a leader has to really capture. And that is all about, in essence, you need to be future ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on what would be the characteristics and the features of entrepreneurial marketeers, right, to deal with smart citizens of the future. Let me now approach to Ms. Nazia Andali Pema. She is the visual artist and director of Bangladesh Brand Forum. Would you please share your thoughts on what entrepreneurial marketing would be for dealing with smart citizens of the future, and what you would like to define, how you like to define the smart citizen of the future?
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. How are you? Fine. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here, because before coming here, I was in my performance session. I was doing a body act in a very old building. It's in road Dhanmandi, called 765 Shah Masjid Road. It's a very renowned historical building that will be demolished and the new building will rise there. So I was there to have a mark of an artist and as a last memory of that building and that space. So, and from there I came here. So it's a quite a transition from here to there, but do you think it is quite a transition? Yeah, from here to there? Anyone? Mm. At first, I thought I'm gonna just be inside the car and don't come, and I would say that I'm still in Danpati, but I changed my mind because I thought that okay, let's go inside and face everything. When I came here, I listened to Philip Kotler's and every other, look at everybody, and I noticed that oh, everything is same. Nothing changed from Dhanmandi to Boshundhara. Why everything suddenly looks same? When I was thinking that whether I'm gonna be inside or not. Because we all are human, we are actually in the same ground. Nothing changed from here to there, nothing changed anywhere. So we are all at the same platform, we are at the same level, everybody is same. We are not separate, we are together. So I deal with sensibility and sense, and I am a very intuitive person, and of course artist. So when I was coming, so this girl was selling me this. So as I was performing, and there is a mirror in the performance. So I was using the mirror to see my face, and my audience was on the opposite of the mirror. So we were both facing each other, but the mirror was there. So the same mirror, I was in my car and I was looking at, because I was getting ready inside the car, changing my clothing. So it's a very difficult task in Dhaka Road to change your attire inside the car. It's impossible. But I create a technique because I'm thinking over and over last 2 days how I'm gonna come here and I will change the dress, attire. And I made it happen. Because when you think you could make it happen, you could make it happen. It's not a magic, it's a logic, but you could make it happen, which seems like a magic. You know what I mean? So this is very interesting that I changed the whole attire while my driver is driving. And this young girl with so many flowers came and she saw it because I was in the back seat and she was astonished and she was telling, oh, Madam, apni eto sundor, you're so pretty. Actually, she was not seeing the beauty that whatever it is, she was actually surprised seeing what's happening behind the car. Probably she never witnessed that, ever. And I was having a big mirror and brushing my hair. And she kept saying, Madam, I'll give this flower to you free. Then I looked at her. I said, you're going to give me the flower free? She said, Madam, please open the window. I'll give you this bunch of flower free. Then I said, okay, I'm going to give you this $100. Give me this. And she gave me this. And then I said, is it $100? She said, she didn't say anything. She's very smart. She actually sold it to me, right? And she was just telling me how pretty I look. And she bring other friends to see. And then we bargain, and then she gave me this. And I said, oh, why don't you give me another one? Then she said, okay, then give me $100. So she was such a flamboyant mode, she was really doing this business. I thought she's super smart, right? Super, super smart. How they learn this? technique without learning any marketing, any branding, right? Because instinct is very powerful. If you use it, you can do magic. So I think I would recommend that to be a smart citizen, use your instinct. I've done so many international exhibitions all over the world. Every time I miss a Turner Prize, the best award in the whole world, and every time I visit UK, and now I'm living in UK also. So I go to the event and I saw, oh, the prize winner. Actually, I thought about it. Why didn't I use it? Because the biggest idea that just pass you right away, you don't notice. You know what I mean? Somebody else is doing it because he or she is smarter than you. I remember my mother, we know how, যখন মাংস কাটি আমরা বটিতে, তখন আমাদের ওই কোরবানির সময় অনেক মাংস হয় না, সো ওই ছবিটা ব্লো আপ করে an artist got a Turner Prize. And every time I see this, I thought that, wow, it would be so good if I could blow it out and put it in a life size. So instinct is so powerful. I think what your gut say to you, follow it in terms of marketing, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of everything. And if you blend it with your senses and with your ability to understand your surroundings, you're through this. So that's about it.
Thank you. So instinct, right? Your gut feel, and it comes from experience, of course. And from Professor Coulter's presentation, we heard that the entrepreneurial marketeers should be opportunity seekers, risk takers, and network collaborators. These are fantastic sort of guidelines, but it has to come from within, right? And that's what you're pointing to. Your instinct, your gut feel, and that's based on experience and from your peers, from your job and all that. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. And no wonder she's a creative director. Thank you. And now may I approach Mr. Aminul Haq. He's filling in for our designated panelist, and will be shoot. Mr. Aminul is the executive director of Nogod. From your perspective, would you like to sort of educate our students what the entrepreneurial marketeers should have and how they will deal with the future smart citizens?
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for such wonderful evening and such a nice program that I can see. So let me give you guys a bit of confidence first. First of all, I am also an ex-NSU. So I graduated from North Southern University, but not from this campus, the Borani campus. During our time, this campus was not yet ready. And interesting fact is, at Nogod, actually, out of 5 of our founders and co-founders, 4 of them are from NSU. So that should give you a lot of hope and optimism in your mind that actually just a few years back, we were also sitting in your row, and there were a lot of panelists used to come, give us a lot of information, a lot of things. We used to listen like you guys and bring those in our memory. And maybe sometimes I used to think, is it going to really be helpful for me, or is it going to work, or how is it going to help me in my future life? So I will take the privilege to tell you actually what happened in our life after we graduated from NSU, and how NSU actually really helped us to become the smart citizen. So actually, from my perspective, it is my another privilege that I was actually the gold medalist from NSU as well. So that gives me a lot of initial privilege into the job market. So it was very easy for me to get a placement being a gold medalist from NSU and also from finance graduates, so you understand it. So, but after I worked for a couple of years in the banking sector, especially the financial sector, then it started triggering my mind that whatever I'm doing is not enough. I need to go for more ventures. I should go for more exploration. And then I left Bangladesh, went for my MBA, and then went to a very well-reputed management consultancy company, which main competition with the McKinsey and BCG. That gives me the chance to work at least 4 to 5 Fortune 500 companies in 4 different industries, including oil and gas industry, manufacturing sector, technology sector, banking sector, and as well mining sector as well. So after working like 8 to 9 years in 4 to 5 industries, when I got the chance to contribute in Nogod, and all of my co-founders are actually from same batch. Actually, we are all from 02 batch, 4 of our co-founders, and we all graduated in 2006 from NSU. So when we saw the opportunity, and Mr. Tanvir Mishuk, he is the managing director, and he is also my school friend as well. So when we sit together and found that there's an enormous opportunity to contribute to make Bangladesh a smart Bangladesh, a digital Bangladesh, we took an opportunity and we all focused together to contribute something completely different in Bangladesh that Bangladesh has never experienced what we tried to do for last 3 to 4 years. So to me, smart Bangladesh is actually the recipe of having this smart citizen was all mentioned in the slide pack that I saw just now for last 30 minutes with Philip Kotler. So if you want to relate with us at Nogod, all these 7 points that he mentioned after the 4 Ps, actually we covered all of them. So interestingly, I'm also, apart from the board member of Nogod, I'm also the acting CFO, you can say, because we did not recruit a CFO. That was a strategic call because we thought that if one of the founders take care of the financial aspects, that's going to make our process and decisions much more faster. So I was playing the role for CFO last 4 years. So actually, I can tell you 60% of my time, I do not spend on my numbers and the financial aspects. I spend my time on marketing because I have to convince my team members that, okay, if you go for this pricing, actually you can get a significant amount of market share. So apart from being the typical role, actually everybody is doing the marketing job. So from your side, whatever the measure that you have, you can't ignore marketing and you will have to adapt to the basic instincts that I just heard from my dear colleague here, that it is true. And apart from this, to me, smart citizen is getting the instinct, try to know, try to understand what are the dots that I need to connect in my life. It's all about connecting the dots. All the industry that I worked about, it all contributed for me to drive, to help in my current company where I'm contributing. So it's all about connecting the dots. So if you can improvise yourself to learn how you can connect all the dots of your life, I think nothing can stop you. You'll be unstoppable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. So connecting dots are important. And so this is an improvisation. Classroom lectures, classroom knowledge are useful. But at the end of the day, when you are becoming an entrepreneurial marketeer, you have to have that ability to connect the dots, right? Creativity. Now, coming back to classroom, we have our own in-house professor. So I understand, again, I'm repeating some of the characteristics or capabilities that entrepreneurial marketers and entrepreneurs should have. And you also heard from Professor Coulter's presentation that professional marketeers are not the same as entrepreneurial marketeers. In going future, we should have entrepreneurial marketeers, right? So it comes down to classroom education. We have to transform that as well, right? So I'm asking our own professor, what kind of gaps you see in our education, in our classroom experience for the students, and what needs to be done? Professor.
Thank you.
Professor Niyaz Ahmed.
Good evening. Well, we have heard a lot of enlightening comments from our distinguished guests and Professor Kotler. So I feel like whatever I say will be boring, but nonetheless, I will say it. First of all, in the context of discussing smart citizens and smart nations, I think we should also discuss the need for smart marketing. And what I mean by that is that within the next 5 to 10 years, the field of marketing will be undergoing revolutionary transformations, and all will be driven by uh, exponential technological advancements and evolving consumer dynamics. But I will talk about a few of these changes that will revolutionize not only smart citizens and smart nations, but smart marketing. Now, first of all, responding to the question about how should smart citizens and smart nations prepare themselves for these impending revolutionary changes. Now, in terms of what we should emphasize and how the smart marketing concept should transform our thinking and our national approaches as well as corporate approaches. A couple of important points. First, we have to look at not only smart marketing, but also existential marketing and compassionate marketing in the context of purpose-driven marketing, which is consistent with the social responsibility and global responsibility. Also, we have to talk about the specific technological advancements that are actually emerging within the next few years. In fact, just in terms of AI, artificial intelligence, in terms of experiential devices such as AR, VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and extended reality, in terms of IoT, Internet of Things, in terms of brain reading capability, in terms of neuromarketing. All of these will actually be revolutionizing everything. In fact, most organizations and nations have not even begun to fathom how these revolutionary changes will actually transform the profession, transform various industries and nations. In fact, just this week, the university in Texas, scientists have developed brain reading capability using AI and computer. So basically what they were doing, they used MRI to scan the brain while the subjects were actually watching a movie or a video or whatever. And the computer is hooked up to the AI, and the computer is actually able to read what their minds are actually interpreting. And this is just one example. And in 2023, the neuromarketing field has actually made significant progress using brain analysis and all other technologies. And in the near future, there will be fast changes in AI. What we are witnessing today in terms of AI is just in its infancy. Just imagine that. It will, it will make incredible, mind-boggling changes the way marketing is performed, the way everything is done in human endeavors. So we have to prepare our future generation, not only smart nations, but obviously you are the leaders of this future smart nations. So we have to prepare ourselves. Now, how do we prepare ourselves? Obviously, as I have traveled around the world, I have seen not much difference in this generation, the Generation Z, in terms of their mindset. They are very similar despite some cultural differences. So if we can talk about Bangladesh, we can talk about any society. So how do we prepare our future leaders? First of all, we have to create the opportunities within educational institutions and within national context, whereby students and the future marketers and leaders can actually practice and experiment with these revolutionary technologies and advancements as they're related to marketing. So in that context, I would like to propose that if we have the ability, we should create a smart marketing lab within NSU, which will work alongside the startup or incubator business programs. And in the national context, I think there is scope for such a thing, such an entity that will actually, hopefully, get the ball rolling. So it depends on funding. I'm sure our honorable dean has a lot of money, so we will probably get the funding. So with that, I will stop, but we will continue this discussion in a moment.
Thank you, Professor. How much money you're talking about? $1 billion. Right. No, thank you very much for alluding us to the needs of time to educate, to equip our students. I know we are between this and your dinner, right? And you are busting with a lot of questions after listening to Professor Coulter and our distinguished panelists. It allow us to ask one round of questions again to our panelists, and then we'll open up floor for your questions, right? Now, about the second round, distinguished panelists, I know the entrepreneurial marketing book also talks about some of the capabilities. Sometimes they're called omni capabilities or omni-channel capabilities. So they include creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship, and leadership. I mean, they are very well-known capability, right? But I would like to sort of go to each of the panelists and focus on one of the attributes. So if I may start with innovation and ask our visiting panelist, Mr. Wong, what are the sort of critical integral components to develop innovative mindset and how what are the things the country can do to develop that innovative mindset among our generation of future who will be the future entrepreneur marketers.
Sure. Well, let me share what perhaps in my country, in Singapore, how are they promoting innovation as a culture among the academics and the students itself. In fact, innovation is actually in the DNA in most of us. It is how to actually rediscover it within you and how to bring it out of your DNA and to surface it into a common practice which you will be able to adopt as a day-to-day living, I would say, practices. Now, for innovation itself, is really to adopt what is relevant now, and at the same time to think about what you can do in the future itself. All right, it has got difference with creativity. Now, being innovative is to really explore the boundaries that's beyond what is available right now. So henceforth, in fact, in Singapore itself, most of our students, in fact, from the uni, are encouraged to actually push the boundary to the extreme. And at the same time, while doing this, of course, bearing in mind that there are certain ethical reasons that you have to adhere to. So when you look at that itself, meaning the sky is the limit, but of course, being governed by the ethical side of the humanity itself. So as being innovative, you're being encouraged in whatever ways. Now, as long as you have the spirit, you have the idea itself, that is where you should explore further. Now, in today's context, in fact, technology allows us to many extents to amplify the current state of innovation. So henceforth, back to what I've said, using technology, ride on the technology, ride on what is available to you, push the boundary itself. Okay. More importantly, like what Professor Kotler has said, if you're doing something that you're doing right now, in 3 years' time, you render yourself obsolete. So henceforth, in order for you to actually progress and achieve breakthrough, you have to think beyond what you are thinking right now. Push for the boundary, all right? And at the same time, I think bearing in mind, of course, being humanity itself, sustainability, it's the buzzword right now. In every place you go, they're talking about sustainability. And sustainability will become the core principles of all marketing. Right. So henceforth, that is something that we will all adopt as a common principle. But on the other hand, innovations is where it will differentiate what you can do between students, between countries, and between cities. So if we can all come together, I think a very good suggestions that you have is actually to set up a lab in marketing innovation itself. It will actually amplify the effect of what you intend to do. So henceforth, the support that you need right now, as in asking for the dean, perhaps, for extra fundings to set up the lab, I think that's a brilliant idea. And in fact, in all universities in Singapore, in fact, there are 6 of them, there is always fundings for students with innovative idea, incubating all these ideas itself and being funded. And that's where technologies are able to progress to the next level. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. So push the envelope as much as possible. Think beyond today, and of course, be mindful about the environment, nature, human aspect of your innovation path, and be careful with ChatGPT. All right. Now, going and again on the 4 capabilities that we talked about, if I can pick up um, um, the leadership aspect and can ask Mr. Asif Iqbal to share his thoughts on what are the key skills and capabilities he looks for defining good leadership.
So actually, the global trends of technology is very important to shape up the leadership skills. Now, if we look at the trends, the way I see it, there is tremendous momentum after COVID, where life science technologies are dramatically changing. The mobile financial service like, activities of Nogod. Similarly, if you look at networking and interconnectivity, expansion of 5G and 6G, which is just ensuing, which is satellite-based internet. Then the high performance computing to become mainstream, big data-based research, cloud-based computing. As Mr. Roger was saying, the continuous growth and progression in artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and cloud computing. And then, everybody deep in their heart is thinking, when I'm accepting the cookies, when I am actually getting into Facebook, what is happening to my security and privacy? And, organizations are thinking, how do I protect
cyber attacks. And, you have heard Professor Kotler saying meta. The metaverse is shining actually at this point in time. The digital reality combining social media, online gaming, augmented reality, virtual reality, cryptocurrencies, creating a completely new scape, and there is no IoT anymore. They're calling it meta. So the change is happening. Now, if I ask you a question that will marketing exist? Will sales exist? Because the chatbot is taking the chat GPT soon will become the trust GPT. And they will say no human being is required. Those are the kind of changes and challenges that are in front of the future leadership. What I say very humbly is that where অভাব যেখানে আছে প্রয়োজন যেখানে আছে, where there is অভাব means where there is want and where there is need, this thing will shift. People will become, because technology will govern us, people will crave for humane touch. People will be moving towards more handcrafted products than the machine crafted products. So the demand is going to shift, and if the demand shifts, the new leadership have to really change the paradigm itself through innovation, through their own emotional transformation of what Prima was saying, instinct, and sort of that smartness that people are thinking about, that creative intelligence. Now, if I say in that, as I told you, that your philosophy has to be intact because you want to make a better world. So your philosophy has to be give before you get. Your philosophy has to be create, don't compete. Because if you compete, there will be a more beautiful one. There will be more smarter one. There will be more capable one than you. But when you actually put that instinct and magic of yours, like that little girl, you really become special. And that's how you become a very different marketeer and very different leader altogether. So you need to put people first, strategy second, marketing second. First, people. You need to really understand your reality that good is not good enough. Good is the enemy of great, as Jim Collins says. So therefore, you have to become selfless for your customers and generate value to benefit everyone. And that value generation may be off technology. We don't know. So therefore, you have to be continuously ready for certain values. Within this, as a marketer, because you have to be responsible marketer, you have to have impeccable integrity. You have to be honest, transparent, and ethical in everything that you do. You have to have the passion to win. You have to promise what you deliver, and you have to deliver what you promise. You have to leave an enterprising culture where change is the only constant. You need to have continuous learning. You have to really quest for your excellence. You need to count every paisa because, the moment you don't count it, you are wasteful and you will be doing harm to the world. And you have to make a better world. So, what are the competencies that you require? I talked about your skills. What are the competencies that are required? You need to have a passion to make a better world. You need to have the passion to make a better you, your better family, your better society, better country, and a better world at large. You need to be world class. Nothing less than world class would do in future. You need to have the awareness for your enterprise and for the organization that you will be running as an entrepreneur, or the organization that in which you will be working. You need to have all the time this magical injection of yours and have breakthrough thinking. You need to have strategic influencing. You need to seize the future to become the future ready. You need to develop not only yourself, but also others around you so that you can make a better environment. You need to hold yourself and others accountable. You need to empower yourselves. You need to really believe in this, collaboration where people say 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals to 6 or 7 when you talk about synergy, but I say 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals to 222. So those are the mindset changes that you require. So that's all from my side for leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Visionary strategy, giving agile and thinking beyond what science can tell you. 2 plus 2 plus 2, but you haven't defined what each two stands for. The same thing or different? If they're different, they can make a lot more than just 6, right? So that's visionary, right? Thank you, Anna. I heard previously that we have to improvise, and I know we are running out of time, and we'll probably very quickly go to our remaining panelists and sort of get their thoughts on what sort of skill set you see in it for a creative mind, to our creative director, Ms. Prema.
Is it working? Really mind-boggling. I think it's very important that you challenge yourself more than ever before. Challenging yourself is such a great virtue that it is unbelievable. I always challenge myself. I shift my art, my work, my everything I challenge. You have to be your own lover at the same time enemy. How you deal it? It's kind of philosophical. I think by which you do. Philosophy is very important. You have to be in touch with it. And what do I mean by you have to be your own lover and also enemy? Because you cannot fall in love with your own work because it's changing every minute. Time is a very important factor of our life. We have to value our time because time is passing by. So we have to be ready. Readiness is another important thing to be really, really creative and smart as well. So, and when we're saying connecting dots, that's what I've been doing last 25 years, connecting dots. That's what make me from artist to creative director, then I'm the president of Women in Leadership, and also I found Bangladesh. I'm a founder of Bangladesh Creative Forum, and also I run Prima Arte Foundation. So every dot, if you can connect, it really would talk to you. And you will get to the point that you are searching. So you always have to search that. The searching mode should be always on. And you keep challenging yourself every minute. Trust me, guys, these attributes is not for the classroom, boardroom, whatever. It's your everyday task, every minute. So I'm always aware with my senses. Sometimes people got really crazy about me around me. They said, can't you do something else? No, I can't. Because I won't, even if I can, because I want to be there. I want to get it all. I want to have it all. I want to be an AI. For an instant, I want to be an AI. How do I do that? I want to be the competitor with AI. So, what is it? It's very philosophical. So, I have to be on board to catch the time, to catch the digital era. Nothing can surpass me. So, you challenge yourself. Challenge is even fun. Trust me, guys, challenging is so much fun. Once you start doing it, you're gonna fall in love with it. You can't, like, eating is a challenge, dating is a challenge, going out is a challenge, listening to a panel is a challenge. It's kind of boring to listen to all the expertise, that how cool they are talking their expertise, but to be there to listen is a challenge. But you guys are amazing, sitting there with this smiling face and listening to every word that we are saying is a challenge, and you are surpassing it with this great gesture and your posture. I think it is very important that always challenge yourself. You challenge, you the winner. And this is so much fun, I promise you. And the journey, you can't even imagine where it's gonna take you in a blink of an eye. Thank you.
So keep on challenging yourself, right? And classroom is not everything that you are experiencing. You have to go out and invent your environment, understand your environment, challenge, right? Now to our last one of the four attributes that you talked about. The last one is entrepreneurship. So we're going to Mr. Hall to extract his brain about what he means, what are the key skill sets and capabilities to become a good entrepreneur.
Okay, thank you very much. I will try to keep it very short for you. I think the area that I think everyone should focus is the learn how to set a priority, because this is something where I would like to thank to NSU, because I can still remember those days where I used to take like 5 courses in a semester, and I have like two final exam tomorrow, one submission of final report tomorrow, and I have my own batches. I used to teach a lot of students as well. So how to prioritize? So actually, I learned something very amazing during my NSU times is that even if there are some subjects that I really love, but I used to give less time on those subjects because I know that my A is almost guaranteed. So I need to focus on those where I am not good at. So similarly, you can understand now, being the executive director of a fintech company like Nogod, where we have 7.5 crore customer base, that means almost 75 million plus customer base. So many things are happening, so many reports are being generated. There is a team of like 12 to 15 people who are preparing reports as well. So where to focus on, where I should give my priority of the morning, which are the reports that I should focus during the evening time, at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the month. So what I'm talking about is that this is a very nice concept. It's called management control system that is being implemented by almost all the top 10 Fortune 500 companies. What they do is that they prepare a system where they focused, they plan for it, they set up some control elements for it, and they continuously asking for the reports like against my plan, how much I have achieved, what needs to be done tomorrow, next week, next month, next year to achieve my target. So my philosophy is that to be a successful in the entrepreneurial skill, you have to build up this habit in your personal life. Like there need to be a target, like every day what I'm to achieve, what I did wrong today that I should improvise tomorrow, And eventually you will see that after a few days, few weeks, few months, you will start improvising. So I think that is the area where we have to focus. That is one of the secret recipe that I found among a lot of successful peoples, because they continuously assess themselves. So self-assessment can be a way to improvise yourself. And apart from this, what we saw today, big changes are coming. You are the graduates from NSU. A lot of changes are coming. So two examples that I'd like to give you. One is like in Singapore, if you go to DBS Bank, account opening at branch is not allowed. Literally, they will say no to you. If you go to Plaza Singapore, they will say no, you are not allowed to open at branch. Rather, they will educate you how you can open your account online. Correct me if I'm wrong. And look at their profitability. For last 3-4 quarters, they are having amazing growth of profitability. So digitalization became like a competitive advantage for a bank like DBS Bank, where other banks are struggling in those areas. So those sort of digital financial service will be very shortly launched in Bangladesh as well. So we need to be aware of ourselves, what is happening in the next and how we can fit in. One last example that I would like to give you, and then I will finish. So when we were working on the innovation side at Nogod, we found that if we want to really open this 7.5 crores account, the number of papers that those people need to fill up, that's going to be a ridiculous number, and it will be very difficult to manage those papers. So what we did not ignore this problem. We tried to find out, like using the management control system, what actually we can do to solve these problems. And we found that our MNOs like Grameenphone, Robi, they have got all the KYC data. So if we can somehow do an API connectivity with those MNOs and then verify the data with our election commission, actually we can do the KYC. So we become the first company, fintech company in Bangladesh who introduced the digital KYC in Bangladesh in the financial sector. Though there were like more than 51 banks available, but they did not try to solve the problem to make it happen. But we were consistent to solve this problem for the customers. We did it. So I would like to request you that whatever the situation you were, this is your baseline. Try to see what you want to achieve for tomorrow, for next week, for next month, for next year, and start working on it. I'm sure that success will be there. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And one of the things that I would like to take away from is about setting your priorities and time management. Your exams are coming, right? So you better organize yourselves. And right. Thank you for all your thoughts and provocative ideas and things. For students, now it's your turn. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, and if you're not really ran out of energy, please speak up a little bit. Over to you. Any questions for our panelists? Oh, can we just get one microphone?
Assalamu alaikum. So I'll take much time. My question is that I have a philosophy as I wish to be an entrepreneur. So my philosophy is that I need to have much self-hunger. I need to have that drive for wealth, for, let's say, fame and something. But I need that hunger. Without that, I'm not going to do something. I'm not going to achieve something. I'm not going to break those barriers. So while keeping that hunger on, now, when we're starving, we only look at the food. We don't look at the way to go for it. So we want to achieve it. And in order to achieve it, sometimes our instincts take over and we become animalistic. So ethics comes in question. So I would like to know how to keep that ethics in check, how to keep the instincts in check and be ethical at the same time while driving for that. So when I'm looking for the goal only, it's quite obvious. Sometimes we go out of the way. So how to keep that in check? And that's the question to my panel. Thank you.
So it is to Mr. Iqbal, or all of the panelists can pick. Okay.
So
to you all.
From my side, I think you have asked a very, very good question. I will answer it in twofold, very shortly. Number one is you need to create your own value system. Remember the impeccable integrity, the enterprise culture, the things that I talked about, that's my own value system that I have developed. So if you do not have your own value system, you will not be able to really create, those checks or control points for yourselves. So that's number one. Number two is that while you create those stopovers or, the stop checks, you need to think about 4Ds. Being an entrepreneur, if is your destiny, you need to create 2 more Ds. You need to create a desire. Well, for that, everyone will have that desire. So what you need to create above that desire is a word called desperate desire. While the desperate desire is going to take you to the destiny. For example, 3 of your friends like a girl. Whom she will choose? The guy who is desperate for that girl. He will win. So that's the way the world is. Now, in that desperate desire, the biggest enemy is another D. And that D, can you anticipate or can you tell me? No, Devil. 2 more chances. It's called doubt. Yeah? So you can't have that doubt. If you have got desperate desire and if you have got doubt at the same time, you will not be able to reach the destiny the way you would like to get. So therefore, clear this path out, but have those control systems of value. Thank you.
Can I add on something to what I've said? No, I've actually traveled my entrepreneur path for the past 30 years. Okay, maybe that's something that I can actually perhaps share with you what I've learned along the way. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you into any sports or any kind of hobby that you're doing right now?
Yes, I was really into esports, which is not that much accepted in our country anyway.
Why not? It's a very popular sport. In fact, it's highly being recommended as an esports, and you'll be in the Olympic and even in SEA Games and Asia Games. It's coming up, right?
we tried for the Asian Games for arranged by our country's BIDESA,
Yes.
Youth Development Society, but we could not go far.
Okay.
We have that constraint here. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into esports that you're talking about. Now, if today, if you have time and things like that, will you engage into your hobby? If you do have extra time, will it find it to be a chore to actually get into your esports moment right now? Do you find that perhaps if I've got a bit of time and if I'm going to go into it, it will sort of waste my time. I'd rather do something else. Would you?
Well, if I'm given the opportunity to do esports,
Yes.
then I'm obviously going to dive into it.
Yes.
But let's say I have taken the esports as a hobby now, but it was like a profession to me before. Now, so I'm not going to drive for it, but now I'm trying to go for the entrepreneurship path and
Okay.
do something.
Let me perhaps bring that back to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, to me, it has to be driven with passion. Now, if you are passionate about esports itself, and then you do enjoy esports, certainly, getting into esports will never be a chore to you. I think time will never be a factor. All right. So certainly, as a entrepreneur itself, you must have sufficient passion to drive what you are doing or what you like to do. Now, then time will never be a factor. Okay. So put passions into what you are doing, driven by the values that you have learned. I think the entrepreneur path will be easier in terms of traveling. So put a lot of passions, right, and turn it into something of a daily life, and review that on a daily basis. Create a hobby in your entrepreneur path. It will never you will never work another day again. All right, so it becomes your hobby, it becomes your passion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is to Mr. Aminul Haq. So we know that for brands like Nogod, the main thing is building trust among the consumers for brands like Nogod. So recently we have seen various exciting campaigns of Nogod, but along the side we are seeing the financial reports of Nogod as well. So how do you measure your object? How do you measure that your marketing objective is met despite of the financial reports and also the ongoing campaigns? Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful question. I really appreciate it. That means you are going through all these slides and all the recent events that is happening around. So actually, the answers were in those slides that you have gone through. You remember the slide where there was marketing 3.0? Can you remember the points that Philip Kotner has mentioned? Absolutely. So at Nogod, we have specific strategy about pricing, about distribution, about sustainability, about stakeholders' interest. So if you can remember in that slide, actually I didn't realize that that slide was actually a summary of all these things that we have done for last 3 to 4 years. Because we at Nogod think about sustainability, not the profit. The profit was there in the, I think, marketing 1.0. So if we really, I would like to say, being the CFO for last 4 years, if we really wanted to make profit, actually we do not even go for 7.5 crore customer base. Maybe we can just focus on my revenue generating high class 1 crore customer enough. Let's drive for profit altogether, because that is not going to be sustainable for you in future. Because at Nogod, we are driving for an ecosystem, not to raise profitability. And if you look into the culture of the startup for globally, like if you talk about Uber, if you talk about, for example, Agoda or some other business models, if you see, they worked on developing a significant amount of customer base. So you need this to ensure sustainability for your future. So we did not go for like instant gratification of profit. So rather we invested so that we know that in future there will be a sustainable amount of profit, which is going to serve all the stakeholders, not just the shareholder as well. Actually, it's a bit very important aspect that also relates with the ethical standpoint as well. That should we just focus on profit? If you know that if we just focus on profit, we would not make our price bring down to 9.9 compared to our competitors. But we did it because we knew that those marginal peoples who are unable to have their minimum calorie of the day, they also need a service. That service is going to help them to ensure their financial freedom. So that is our philosophy behind these things, not the short-term gratification. I hope my clarification served your answer. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we are not taking any more questions, but I really appreciated the depth and the breadth of concepts, ideas, gold-plated insights, and magical creativity that all are so much for me to process. And I'm sure you've got plenty of food for thought. You can even miss your dinner. Now, could you please join me and thanking our enlightening panelists? Thank you.
Thank you to our esteemed panelists and moderator for taking this insightful session. We will now gather for a momentous occasion as we celebrate the Professor Kotler's 92nd birthday with a cake cutting ceremony. This is a special moment to pay tribute to his immense contributions and express our heartfelt gratitude for his invaluable lessons. I'd like to ask Honorable Dr. Halal Ahmed Sir, Dr. Mahamud Hassan Sir, Muhammad Aminul Haq Sir, Ms. Nazia Andali Prima, Mr. Asif Iqbal, Mr. Roger Wang, and Dr. Niaz Ahmed to please come in front of the stage to join in our humble cake cutting ceremony. Please give a huge round of applause. Thank you to our moderator and panelists and guests. I would like, before we conclude, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to Asia Marketing Federation, the Marketing Society of Bangladesh, Bangladesh Brand Forum, and Department of Marketing and International Business (NSU) for their efforts in organizing this event. We would also like to acknowledge our event sponsors and partners, supported by Buy Here Now, Daffodil International University and Nagad, event partner Pran and Tasty Treat, strategic partner UCSI University Bangladesh Campus, technology partner Amra Technologies Limited, and PR partner Backpage PR. Let us embark on this journey of knowledge, inspiration, and celebration. Thank you for being with us here and for joining this beneficial event. Your vivid presence made this evening worthwhile. This is your host, Sababa Malik. Thank you once again and a very good night. I would request all the students who did not sign their attendance, please sign.
আমি কথা বলতেছি মানুষ যারা আছে
কারো কি অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স বাকি ছিল?
Students who did not sign the attendance sheet, I would request you all to take the attendance sheet and sign.
Fast.